What if I told you you didn't fully choose your life, but inherited a script? What if from the beginning your path has been laid out? Go to school, get a degree, find a job, build a family, take a loan, buy a car, mortgage a house. Repeat, repeat, repeat. And somewhere along the way, you didn't stop to ask, is this what I actually want? You are stuck in a system that doesn't need your awareness, but only your participation. The Matrix isn't just science fiction, it's philosophy disguised as action. And the deeper you look, the more unsettling it becomes. Because this isn't just Neo's story, it is also your story. In the Matrix, Neo is faced with a defining choice to choose between two pills, a blue and red pill. If he chooses a blue pill, he continues his everyday life in a comfortable illusion, unaware, undisturbed, and confined to a limited understanding of reality. But if he chooses a red pill, he's forced to awaken from the matrix to a truth that is far from perfect, but is reality. The matrix isn't just a fiction or machine system, it's an all encompassing prison disguised as Neo's reality while blinding him to the truth. It represents something far more subtle, a default way of living, a system where you move through life without ever questioning it. You wake up, you follow patterns, you absorb beliefs, not because you chose them, but because they were handed to you, installed early, reinforced daily, and over time, that becomes your reality. In the film, people aren't trapped by chains. They are trapped by a world so convincing they never think to leave. A system designed to keep them distracted, comfortable, obedient. While the machines harvest their energy in the form of heat and bioelectricity. What if I told you the world we live in may be shaped by a similar kind of illusion? Not one driven by artificial intelligence or machines, but by our inherited ways of thinking. A system that encourages you to consume, to stay busy, to stay distracted, while your time, energy, and attention are quietly being extracted. An illusion built on ideas that are rarely questioned and are often outdated, yet widely accepted as a truth. What if I told you that this pattern doesn't just exist around you, it exists within you? A kind of automatic program running silently in the background of your life, from childhood to career to relationships. An invisible framework guiding your decisions, whether or not they truly align with who you are or what gives your life meaning. What if I told you this system has shaped the version of your life that may not be entirely your own? A path you didn't consciously design, a path that is clear, structured, and predictable. A life where dreams are often exchanged for routine, for security, for stability. A life reinforced at every level, validated by authority, taught through education, amplified by media, and structured by institutions. A life that leans towards survival than purpose. Philosophers have chased this idea for centuries, uncovering a truth that stings. It's the same shadow Plato described 2000 years ago in the allegory of the cave. A group of people have been chained inside the cave since birth. They cannot turn their heads, they cannot move freely. All they can see is the wall in front of them. Behind them, there is a fire, and between the fire and the prisoners, objects are carried back and forth. These objects cast shadows onto the wall. To the prisoners, those shadows are everything. They believe those shapes, those movements, those flickers of light are reality itself. They give names to the shadows, they build meaning around them, they form beliefs, identities, even judgments based entirely on something that isn't real. Now, one prisoner suddenly escapes. At first, he struggles. The light hits his eyes, the movements feel unnatural. Everything he once believed begins to fall apart. When he turns around, he sees the fire. When he wakes further, he sees the objects casting the shadows, and eventually he leaves the cave. Outside, he experiences something completely new. At first, it's overwhelming, but slowly, his vision adjusts. Instead of just shadows, he sees the actual entities, full of color and detail. He then realizes what he thought was real is in fact an illusion, and for the first time, he understands the truth. Now, here's where the story becomes even more important because he doesn't stay outside, he goes back. He returns to the cave to tell the others what he had seen, to explain that everything they believe is only a shadow of something greater. But when he speaks, they don't listen. To them, he sounds confused. They reject him, they mock him, because accepting what he says would mean questioning everything they've ever known. It would mean admitting that the entire understanding of reality might be incomplete. In the movie, Neo is a prisoner, the Matrix is the cave, and most people are still watching shadows, living a script. How does a modern script look like? Go to school, get a degree, no matter the cost, no matter whether it actually leads anywhere. Graduate with a certificate, but no real edge. Just one more person entering the same crowded line. Leave campus, not with freedom, but with debt. Then step into the workforce. Start trading your time for money. Give 5 days a week in exchange for a salary. Slave all day doing the same task over and over again just to afford the life you stepped into. Pay for the apartment, the car you drive, the lifestyle you maintain. Use credit to keep everything running smoothly. Spend to fit in, spend to impress, spend to feel like you're moving forward. Celebrate small wins with bigger expenses. Grow, order, climb the corporate ladder. Feel freedom dripping away, but wake up again. Rush into the day. Fall into rhythm. Work, commute, distraction, sleep. Put in extra hours to prove your value, not because you love it, but because you need it. Earn more, spend more, upgrade everything. Better car, better place, better image. Live for the weekend. Escape when you can. Spend freely because it feels deserved. Feel something is missing, but keep going anyway. Feel the pressure building from responsibilities, from expectations of the life you built. Try to quiet it with more distractions, more entertainment, more spending, more noise. Notice time passing. Think about settling down. Search for love. Find someone. Build a life together. Spend heavily on your wedding. A moment that passes but costs years to recover. Keep moving forward. Work, spend, repeat. Dread the end of the weekend. Dread Monday even more. Think about leaving it all behind. Imagine a different life, more freedom, more meaning, more control. Try to regain control, reduce spending, track everything, cut back on small pleasures, save more, telling yourself it will be worth it later. Trust the plan, trust the system, trust the economy. Teach the same path to your kids. Tell them get good grades, get a good job, be more practical, avoid unrealistic dreams. Teach them the script, grow order. Look back, realize time has passed faster than you expected. Plans aren't finished, dreams are delayed, savings are not enough, time is almost gone. Understanding too late that time was never guaranteed. It doesn't wait, it doesn't adjust, it doesn't care about promises. And one day it runs out. Before your freedom, before the life you imagined, before you ever truly lived. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the script. So, how do you escape matrix? How do you change the script? Well, you don't escape by running away. You also don't escape by quitting everything overnight. You escape by becoming aware of it because you can't change a system you don't even realize you're inside. So, the first step is noticing the pattern, not judging it, not fighting it, just seeing it vividly, seeing how your days repeat, seeing how your choices are influenced, seeing how your time is spent. And then comes the hard part, asking yourself, what do I actually want? Not what sounds good, not what looks successful, but what feels true when everything else is quiet. Because most people never ask the question seriously. And if you don't ask, you default back to the script. The next step is taking back small pieces of control, not your entire life at once, just small decisions. What you pay attention to, what you say yes to, and what you say no to. You start choosing your life instead of just following. And slowly, the script begins to loosen. But here's the truth that most people don't want to hear. Freedom feels uncomfortable at first because it comes with uncertainty, responsibility, and the risk of being different. You may outgrow people, you may question things you once believed, like even the very pillars of your reality, from organized religions and political ideologies to economic systems, society norms, and even your personal biases. You may feel lost because some truths may shatter your sense of self. Accepting them may mean letting go of everything you thought you were, but that's part of waking up. Escaping the script isn't about becoming someone new. It's about removing everything that was never really you. And the moment you start choosing your life instead of inheriting it, is the moment you step outside the matrix. So the question becomes, are you really choosing your life? Or are your choices being shaped? Awaken and break free from blind beliefs, conditioning, and distractions. The real matrix today might not be a simulation, but a life you never question. Because once you start questioning reality, you can't unsee it.